After the firearms were discharged, killing the deceased, officers described that there was small quantities of drugs found on this elderly woman's body, yet she has no previous history and was described as a woman of complete sobriety.
Yeah, well, Your
Yet
Honour,
she's been painted here today as a violent offender, a drug-taking violent offender with mental health issues, a troublemaker, if you will, a danger to the public and to Victorian police. And she was actually considered of such danger that she has been killed here today. It's resulting in her death. It's just unexplainable how an elderly woman of poor health and her severely disabled son of good character has
Your Honour, as we mentioned,
has been
before,
killed.
Obviously,
For the public, we need to clear this
mistaken
up.
identity. Myself and my officers were following protocol and instructions given to us from above, and due to that, even though the pastor's wife was not a psychotic drug addict,
No.
at the time, myself and my officers were still under the impression that this was the mother of the intended complainant, assailant, and we'd only just finished shooting her son in the head, we didn't really have time. As I said, my other officer was still in shock, putting his gun away because he discharged 4 bullets into the alleged assailant, her son, and so that was happening. And also everyone was kind of a bit weird because there was a lot of blood. It was pretty gory, unfortunately, especially after his head popped like a cantaloupe under the tire.
Yeah.
Your Honour. But
horrendous.
yeah, so my officer who discharged a shot here, he
Such close range too.
well, it's because
Totally excessive.
he found it to be easier to grab his shotgun from the car, from the vehicle, the police vehicle, than to unholster his Glock 19 weapon.
The beanbag rounds were also available.
Yes, of course we were carrying beanbag
But you
rounds.
chose to use the SGs?
Yes, Your Honour,
rounds?
because according to the information we've been given, we were dealing with violent career criminals and individuals. We did not know we were dealing with the pastor's wife and disabled son. It's a terrible tragedy.
Terrible tragedy.
Yeah. We stopped kicking him after we realised the reason he was still twitching after we shot him 4 times in the head was because we left the taser on. And then he stopped moving. So, just so you know, Your Honour,
The further attacks by the officers on the
Your
deceased
Honour,
man's corpse
the corpse was moving,
were
Your
clearly
and
excessive.
he had been shot 4 times in the head, tased and kicked in the head, and then his head had been run over, and he was still, Your Honour, still moving. At the time, I think my officers did the best thing that they could do in the situation, and
The officer was described as saying after the events to another officer at the scene. I just lost it, man. I lost it. The crazy kid,
Your Honour, I
the
think
crazy
that
kid
might-
didn't have to go. The old lady was a shame. Can you describe what that could have meant? And has the officer seen a psychologist? And can we get the blood tests and from the officers involved? Why have they been so hard to access? Were they not done
well,
after
Your
the
Honour,
time of the incident?
Your Honour, being the senior sergeant, it was put in my hands to determine whether or not I thought that my constables and other workmates should be tested. Simply, I said there's no need to test because everything seemed on the up and up. So if they want tests, they can have tests now. What time? What day is it, Your Honour?
It's Friday the 6th.
Yes.
2:36.
It's been a long day, Your Honour. Your Honour.
It's
Yeah. Well,
clearly has.
Well, if you would like, Your Honour, we could bring in my personnel tomorrow and do an intravenous blood test to determine anything you would like to know.
Will that not be too late after the incident? Clearing
I'm
officers
sorry, Your
of any
Honour.
wrongdoing
Sorry, Your Honour, I'm not a
intoxicated
medical
by.
officer. I'm not able to answer that question.
Seems such a long time after the incident to do the
I'm sorry, I
blood
can't-
tests and.
I can't speculate on the effectivity of the blood tests at this time, as I'm not a certified medical officer.
Mm.
No.
Just one more thing. The officers involved, he retracted his statement. His first statement
Which officer? Sorry, Your Honour.
of the facts. Wade Foster.
Am I
Now
able to
detective.
speak to Mr. Foster before we continue?
Detective Sergeant stated in the facts that
Am I able to speak to Detective Sergeant
Uh,
before we continue this line of questioning?
is detective available? He's apparently just ducked out of the building under questioning, but the prosecution has said it's not.
Your Honour, Detective Sergeant,
it's-
he's actually showed some signs of chronic PTSD symptoms, which I'm thinking may have come from the other day's altercation. I spoke to him earlier and he seemed fine. And now that you say I can't speak to him and that he's not in
Does
a
the
safe mental state, that makes me
PTS
think that
cause hallucinations? Or he clearly stated that the disabled man was
Your Honour,
holding a
Your Honour, I am not a
bladed-
medical health professional and I can't speculate on
bladed
something.
weapon? A bladed weapon of approximately 13 centimetres in length.
Sorry, Your Honour, which bladed weapon?
Detective Wade Foster, he, in his first original statement at the time of the incident, he described the clearly disabled man, the pastor's son, as approaching the officers with a bladed weapon of approximately 13 centimetres. A bladed weapon. He clearly seen a silver bladed weapon that was described by witnesses as a hot dog wrapped in foil wrapping. A hot
Sorry,
dog
Your
wrapped in
Honour,
foil wrapping. Not a knife, a bladed weapon, a weapon of any character at all. He was found to have
Are we
approached
talking-
the officers with
Your Honour, we
one
talking
can of
about a
Pepsi.
sausage?
We're talking about a sausage in a piece of bread, described as what would be known as a hot dog or sausage in a piece of bread.
So, pig anus,
Uh,
offal,
Offal,
pig
sausage in bread.
noses, anus.
Sausage in bread.
Trotters.
Where is this going? We're describing a hot dog. A hot dog wrapped in foil
Your Honour,
that the officer described as a flash of a knife, a bladed weapon,
I do remember
extending towards the officers.
I do remember that particular officer. He forgot his eye care, his sunglasses.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's possible.
So there was a vision impairment.
It's possible that the flash of Earth's great yellow sun might have come off in a certain angle to the point, to the degree where he was temporarily blinded, even to the point of hallucination.
No.
And this is in no way speculation.
Entirely possible. Entirely possible.
I think you'd agree, Your Honour, that it's entirely possible.
It is. It's hard to fathom. A 13 centimetre bladed weapon was found to be a hot dog in a piece of foil. Is it?
Well, it's about the same size as a butcher's knife, Your Honour.
That is true. And the police prosecutor here today was mentioning earlier that under stress and incidents of extreme violence like this, officers under the pressure they're under can mistake
Oh, of course.
the
Your Honour.
statement of facts and
Realities.
realities,
Uh,
can
Right.
be distorted, and
Absolutely can, Your Honour. It's quite a phenomenon. But there has been many cases across the world where seemingly harmless, feeble, even disabled humans have been beaten
mortally
to
wounded.
death accidentally by officers around the world, simply due to misunderstanding. And Your Honour, I think that these kind of casualties are the kind that you just have to deal with when you're dealing with law enforcement.
It's a hard line to take, but
As you know, Your Honour, our peace officers are more important than criminals, and we followed protocol to the book. It's unfortunate that our body cams turned off at times, and there was a little bit of,
unexplainable.
well, I've explained it to you, Your Honour. I know it doesn't seem to make sense, but
Or
sometimes
forecast.
things don't make sense. But I am to understand, Your Honour, that evidentially, you really, as you can see from the evidence that has been presented in front of you, and that you can peruse, that my officers and myself did everything to protocol and with the intention of upholding the law,
Of
respecting
course,
the peace,
and
and
as the law
and
understands
once
it.
again, we're so sorry about rolling over the disabled boy's head and I'd just like to give our condolences to
The family,
what's the minister's name again? I don't go to church.
Minister Michael Clark.
Oh yeah. Well, and Mick,
really
you
good.
are there, Michael?
Michael, you described your son as like a cuddly teddy bear. A teddy bear.
You never heard his song.
A harmless.
These fucking bastards.
A harmless young man.
No, Your Honor, this is wrong. This is wrong. Order the court. Get him out of here. Oh, I'm sorry about
A
that.
harmless young man brutally gunned down. And
Well, Your Honor, obviously the pastor, the minister, is in whatever. He's in a hysterical state. Maybe it's genetic. Even though that him and his wife weren't related.
you described he was wearing a leather
Drop a cigarette.
a leather vest. Is that right? You described it as a criminal wearing possibly a ballistic vest when approaching the door. Armed with a silver bladed knife, approximately 13 centimeters, as stated. Wearing a possible ballistic vest. Not sure. Not sure
Your Honor,
the
was
exact
was this the
description.
retard kid or the mum?
This was the young man with
Sorry.
mental
You know the one.
disabilities.
Yeah. Whatever they call it.
Disabilities.
Oh God, it's hard to keep up these days with all this PC crap. Anyway, yeah. So the disabled.
Possible ballistic vest. It was stated.
Well, it turns out it was actually like a high vis vest that people wear at work.
Yeah.
And he was given it, and I guess because he's a retard. I mean, you know, whatever.
Mentally challenged.
Yeah, that. I guess because of that, he must like the bright colours, and so he wore it. And even though I'd never seen a fluorescent bulletproof tack vest before, the shape of the outfit that he was wearing, other than the colour, resembled a bulletproof vest, and that's why my officers shot him in the face first.
The witnesses describe him approaching the officers stating with a smile and in a friendly tone,
Your Honor,
"Show me your
That
hat.
smile.
Show me your hat." You described him as saying, "I will attack. I will attack," while holding.
Your Honor, that's what I heard, and I'm not sure what you consider a smile, but all I could see was this kid. His face was weird, like he looked like he'd been bashed on the concrete like 20 times. He
Terrible
couldn't.
description.
Well,
Terrible.
Your Honor, okay.
Terrible description of
He did not look like.
the man's character.
I've never met a person. He looked spastic, Your Honor. Is that right?
Mentally disabled or challenged. We like
Yes,
to call it
yes.
here in the courts.
Well, okay. Well, he looked beyond that. He didn't just look mentally challenged or spastic. He looked like maybe he would have like he was coming at us, Your Honor, with what looked like to be a fluorescent bulletproof vest and a large butcher's knife. We had no idea it was just a sausage and a high vis vest.
Hot dog
And if he
in foil
wasn't
wrapping.
if he wasn't spastic or mentally challenged, then we definitely wouldn't have started on. Things would have gone different, Your Honor.
Terrible. series of
Possibly
events.
he might have still had his head by this point. He might have been able to have an open casket, Your Honor, if he weren't dressed so confusingly in a vest and with a shining subway roll that looked like, or sub sandwich that looked like
A hot dog. Hot dog. it
hot
was
dog.
described
That's,
as.
sorry, Your Honour.
Approximately
A
10
sausage
centimetre
that
sausage
looked
in
like
bread.
a butcher's knife.
Wrapped in foil. It was foil wrapping apparently.
We are not trained for this. I'm not sure you know this, Your Honour, but there's only so much that law enforcement officers are able to be trained in to do their job properly. We're only human. We see somebody running at us, flailing around with a strange look on their face. I know he just wanted to cuddle now, but we see that, and you know, the instinct kicks in, the same instinct that made want to become police officers in the first place and be able to have guns and go through red lights and all that stuff. That instinct, Your Honour, comes when it puts in, it's just bang. You don't even think it's muscle memory. So we saw an assailant running at us in the weirdest bulletproof vest I've ever seen, and a weird, strange looking knife, and a really weird look on his face. And we made an executive decision, Your Honour, to begin to tase the man. We tased him, as you know, for approximately 25 minutes.
Terrible footage of him withering in pain.
You can see from the footage, Your Honour, that the body
Over 12
continued
minutes.
to convulse for 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yes, the entire time that we were shocking him, his body kept convulsing. It's only now.
36 charges administered was shown on the...
Well, it's only now that we realise that he was convulsing simply because he was still being shocked electrically. Because we didn't finish school, most of us, and you know, most of our IQs are under 100.
Yes.
We don't understand how electrical shocks can affect an even dead body and make muscles that are even already dead before rigor mortis react in such a way with thousands of volts. And if we had realised that, we wouldn't have shocked him for the whole 20 minutes. Well, I mean, it was starting to smell like bacon, Your Honour, by the time we stopped. And thankfully, it's just thankful that we realised after we popped the, once we discharged our weapon
Shocking description.
into his skull, it was then we realised, because his head, it was gone. There wasn't really anything left. That's when his mum came out and said, "Stop shocking him." And then started running toward us and going, "Stop shocking him! What have you done?"
Police prosecutor described the discrepancies.
Like I said, it happened very quickly, and then bang, next thing we knew, the shotgun, Officer Jeffers here, he discharged his 12-gauge shotgun at close range, approximately 1 to 2 feet, at the woman's head, which vaporized her cranium, and
basically discharged into her face from close range. A lethal
so
shot
basically
by
the
any
second
means.
we realised that the son was in fact dead, which we had no idea. We were just trying to be sure and safe, Your Honour. And
had to be subdued.
yep, it was only seconds later that happened. This crazy woman, and turns out, well, I thought she was crazy, Your Honour, but yes.
Yeah, the police prosecutor here today is
And
Ted
Your
Beer.
Honour, I'm aware that there is some talk of
discrepancies or
oh,
series of events that
I was more referring to the fact that as I'm aware, and as you are, that my other constable, Miss Gallo,
Miss Gallo
was laughing hysterically.
Mm.
Well, that was
Yeah.
actually
Electric
his
shock.